This is the Sports Betting Spotlight for the Las Vegas Review-Journal. We are at the Sunset Station Sportsbook. NFL previews. The spotlight today on the Green Bay Packers. I'm joined by Bernie Fratto, BernieFratto.com, local radio host, and Chuck Esposito, Sunset Station book director. And Chuck, you and I have talked about the Packers a lot, and the effects of Jordy Nelson's injury last August had a major impact on the Packers in a negative way. They finished the season 6-10, but lost to the Lions at home for the first time since 1991, lost a home game to the Bears. It wasn't the same Packers team. What do you expect to see this time around?
I think they're going to be a much better Packers team. I really do, Matt. I mean, you look at the Packers on our future book board, there's only one team in the league that has lower odds than the Packers, and that's a team that's not going to have their starting quarterback for the first 4 games. So the bettors have bought into the Packers, and you're right about Jordy Nelson. I really thought last year when Benjamin got injured for Carolina, that would have the much bigger impact, that the Packers would be able to overcome it with their young wideouts and Randall Cobb. That wasn't the case. He sorely missed his safety blanket there. Hopefully Eddie Lacy, he's come into camp a lot lighter. He's projecting him to gain over 1,000 yards, but I think it's the Packers' division to lose. I think that you've got a motivated Aaron Rodgers. If you have a healthy Jordy Nelson in that mix, winning one more game than they did last year to get over that win total, I think is really doable. I think the Packers are going to be the team to beat in the NFC.
All right, the Packers, 5-9 odds to win the NFC North here at Station Casinos. Bernie, highest win total in the NFL on the board, partly due to an easy or softer schedule. Packers win total is 11, over -110. What's your take on this team, which did not win the division last season, got overtaken by the Minnesota Vikings?
Still managed to win a playoff game and took Arizona to overtime, so it wasn't a disaster. But let's not bury the lead. The easiest schedule. They played teams with a cumulative 118-144 record last year for a .450 win percentage. Chuck, you're right. Jordy Nelson is back. That's huge. Aaron Rodgers relies on a matchup offense. Randall Cobb much more comfortable in the number 2 role. Hopefully, Devontae Jones will elevate his game as well because he struggled last year. Let's also not forget the addition of Jared Cook. Rarely do the Packers go into free agency this way. He's going to help that offense tremendously. Couple of obscure stats I want to share with you guys. If my team sacks your team in any given NFL game more, I'm going to win 69% of the time and cover 70% of the time. I love what Dom Capers is going to do with this double A gap blitz. He's got Julius Peppers coming off a 10.5 sack season. He's moving Clay Matthews back to the outside and look for Dayton Smith to find himself on blitz packages. I think Green Bay's loaded. We haven't even talked about Eddie Lacy. By the way, you ever notice how when NFL offensive linemen retire, they shrink and get skinny, but when running backs retire, they blow up like balloons? Well, guess what? When running backs are getting ready to start the final year of their rookie contract, like Eddie Lacy, they get P90X bodies. He's going to help this team a lot. I love Green Bay, and one final other stat I want to give you, because I believe Green Bay will be favored in every game this year. Mike McCarthy, as a head coach, has won 112 games as the head coach of the Green Bay Packers. Of those 112 wins, he's covered 100 times, which is important to note because I believe Green Bay will be favored in just about every game. Matt, I've got Green Bay going 12-4. I like them to go over the total.
Chuck, I tend to agree with him. I think Green Bay is going to be at least an 11-win team, if not 12. When you look at the schedule, you think, where's this team going to lose? There's not too many spots. What could be the downfall of the Packers if there is one?
I think health. I think you've heard some of the off-field issues now with both Clay Matthews and Peppers, providing that they're both there when the season starts, and health. If Rodgers stays healthy and Lacy and Jordy Nelson, Jordy has had a hiccup in practice already, so now they're saying it's the other knee. He says he's fine, but he's the big piece of it. As Bernie said, I mean, Adams did not produce well in the number 2 role, and Cobb did not produce well in the number 1 role. They're much better at number 2 and 3. Jeff Janis, on the other hand, stepped up and played really well last year, and they were looking at him at maybe being the number 3. He suffers a broken hand, not sure how long he's going to be out, so they've already had one injury at those wide receivers. They can't afford for Cobb or Nelson to get hurt. If those guys stay healthy, I think they get to that 12-win total.
I misspoke. You're right. Devontae Adams. I inadvertently said Devontae Jones. But Aaron Rodgers is going to have a choice of multiple targets and stretch the field. Another obscure statistic, last year Aaron Rodgers attempted 200 passes of 1 yard or less. That's not a Green Bay offense. He's got his offense back this year. Look out, Green Bay is loaded for bear.
Green Bay defense ranked 15th in the league in total D. Will this defense be better?
I think it'll be better because it'll be more aggressive, and you're going to have Clay Matthews back in the outside. I think there'll be an opportunistic downhill attacking defense, yes.
All right, I'm with Bernie. I got the Packers at 12 wins, an improvement of 2 over last season. That's the spotlight on the Green Bay Packers from the Sunset Station Sportsbook.